If it's an if-then, we're setting up an expectation. Here's another one we got to let go of. You make me angry, you make me sad, you make me happy. I'm so frustrated at you. I'm angry at you. You made me cry. No one made you do these things. You had these feelings because of your core belief. And if you're really angry, it means your core belief has been violated. It means that your value system has been trodden upon. But when we don't take ownership of our feelings, I'm sad. Because you made me sad. I'm sad right now. What I tell the kids and what I've told the kids, especially when we're going into consequence mode, especially when I'm working on delaying the consequences, is I'm very sad right now, but that's not your problem. My feelings are not your responsibility. And that suddenly frees the kids up from having to do something different for my sake. But they are allowed to question their own core belief system at that point. I have stepped out of the way. Let me say it to you this way. If your emotions are the punishment you give your child, you will lose all your leverage. Because ultimately that means that you expect them to regard your emotions as consequence. They don't. They're teenagers. That it worked when they were little kids. Oh, I'm so sad. Oh, Mommy, don't cry. I'm sorry, Mommy. Doesn't work now. Good. I hope you cry. You make me cry, bitch. Walk out the door. He was like, that didn't work. And then now, you make me want to kill you. And then, but it becomes a leverage. It's a power struggle. It's a leverage game. Your motion.
I thought this was just Kazacho talking, but apparently you have other kids thinking.
This is the thing. Here's what I can tell you about this, is that this part will never change. This part will never change. That's it, is that your emotions are not motivators for others. That's not what they're designed for. If I cry, then they will. If I yell, then they will. You can't use your emotions as a motivator. It's not leverage. That's not what they're for. It's a communication tool about what's going on for you. It has nothing to do with them. So stop using it. I'm really angry right now. And that's not your responsibility, that's mine. And I need to go deal with my anger before I deal with you. So I'm going to step away from this because I love you too much to say something I don't mean. I love you too much to argue with you while I'm angry. I would much rather argue with you when I'm totally happy. Because your argument's going to be totally different. Yes?
So I agree with that, but I also want to say, doesn't, though, your children seeing your emotions or whatever help them learn empathy, which I think is important for them to know?
So,
not that you want to manipulate or...
No. I hear what you're saying, because in the world, emotions matter.
Yeah.
All right? If someone cries because of something you did, it's supposed to matter to our child. But here's the thing. Here's what I'm talking about. And this is the long game concept that we're talking about, okay? Either this is why the emotions are not their responsibility. Because if I do something and it makes you angry and you're using your anger against me, I'm not going to think about what I did. I'm just going to protect myself against you. I'm going to become defensive because of you. If you're yelling at me, then I will be defensive of you. But if you're saying, I'm feeling really sad that this has happened, that we're here. I need to take some time. Their focus isn't on you. They have to think about what they did. And when they're thinking about their action, they will reverse from results to actions to feelings to thoughts to their core experience, to their core belief. Why do I believe that's okay? Versus you saying, why do you think that's okay? They have to do that work. You cannot do that work for them. You have to vacate that space of them reevaluating their own actions. If you're evaluating their actions for them, they're just going to focus on your evaluation and try to prove you wrong simply to protect their own emotional state. If I'm crying, you've made me cry. I'm allowed to cry. But to say you made me cry is giving them all the power over my emotional state, right? So they're going to focus either on the fact that they have power over my emotional state, or they're just going to focus on me and be defensive. Versus, I'm really sad right now. I'm feeling really, really sad. And I need to go deal with this so that we can talk. Because I can't talk and feel this at the same time. It's too much.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. I would never, like you're saying, if you tell your children that you did this, I'm feeling sad, they're then in power of you.
Mm-hmm.
Because they got to get to you.
Mm-hmm.
So they got their target. I guess I would just kind of like, it's okay though for you to say, I'm sad, and then if they try to comfort you or, or to have empathy for you.
Empathy is beautiful. We're supposed to have empathy for the world. Right? We're supposed to. We're supposed to feel what's going on in Syria. We're supposed to feel it. And the bards are trying to get us to feel it. Look at these pictures. The picture of the child sitting in the ambulance, shell-shocked and everything, just went viral around the world, and people were like, I had no idea. Now that's the art of the bard. But is that picture responsible for our feelings? No. Our feelings are based on our core belief system. Because some people will look at that and not care. But that's because they have a different core belief system. The problem is to create a hierarchical experience around you should care, which is our next one. This one we have a lot of fun with the kids. This word needs to leave your vocabulary. And the way we do it with the kids is when a kid says, Aaron, we should go to a movie on Friday night. I say, did you just take a should in my kitchen? And it's to the point where the kids go, Aaron, you know what we should do? And it's funny to them, but we're saying the moment we do this, we're laying down expectations. This is a reminder that we are not focused on self, that we're focused on others' actions and behaviors. Or making a request of others' back actions and behaviors, which throws us up to here, which brings us to here. We should go to a movie. If we go to a movie, then I'll clean my room. And you make me so happy, Mommy. And it's just a big old setup. So shoulds and shouldn'ts. Following that is a version of what you need to understand is this. What you need to get through your thick little head is this. What you need to, anytime you're saying what they need to do, again, all of these statements is going to make someone throw up a defensive nature, a defensive wall. These are all impositions. This is violent communication. When we use the word violent communication, it's not just cussing at someone. It's actually saying that they need to change so that we can be happy. That they need to do something different so that we can be happy, which again gives them all of the power. You want to know why a 13-year-old can run the house? Because the parents have an expectation that they shouldn't try. Of course they're going to try. Are they capable of it? Nope. No 13-year-old can run a household successfully. When you hear people say, when I was this age, I had to raise my others, it's never a good story that follows up. There's never a positive experience from it doesn't matter how terrible the primary caregivers were. But anytime someone says, when I was 9, I had to raise my 2 younger siblings, and it worked out great for all of us. That doesn't happen. What happens is my parents were so up that I had to take over at 9 and lost a nice chunk of my childhood. And here's what happened as a result. And there's gaps to fill in that type of scenario. And we see the gaps. Or not how another should act, or how another should think, or how another should feel. We've set ourselves up for ultimate disappointment. It's one of the primary tenets of Buddhism. Do not have expectations. You will be let down.
I'm having a really hard time with this.
That's
Because
fair.
you do if-thens all the time at Fire Mountain, so I don't get the difference.
Explaining what? Explain that.
If they fill out a request for a visitation, then we get to come up and see her.
If they
That's an if-then.
if they earn it. But see, what they're doing is having to do all of the work.
But that's a true statement. If you fill out the visitation
And
request,
you do
then
all your work,
Yeah.
then you get reward.
That's an if-then.
Yes,
you told me not to do
but it's
if-thens.
not based on my emotional experience of happiness or unhappiness. What I will tell your children is whether you go on a pass or not, I'm okay.
Right.
Whether or not you get to go home in 4 months or 12, I love you.
So it's not an absolute. It's not that there's no if-thens. It's the if-thens.
It's that my life is not contingent upon their success or failure.
Right. I mean, because
Theirs is.
if-thens are, that's the world. If you want to drive, then you need to get a driver's license.
If you pay your rent, then you can stay. Yes.
Right.
But that's not the issue. The issue is the landlord's happiness contingent upon you paying your rent. That's what we're talking about. Because if we are using our emotions as the motivator, then they'll ultimately say this. Because your emotions are running their life and vice versa. Their work is running your happiness. And so we're taking out the emotional piece of that if-then. You're right, the world is a gigantic if-then. The emotional piece is the piece that we have laid upon others that is actually our personal work. If you do this, then I will be a happy father. Your stress level at work being contingent upon your daughter's behavior at school is an illness in your family.